Hello, the internet, and welcome to Book Reviews. It's a working title. My name is Redacted for your own safety, and today we will be talking about. Oh, sweet! I love this book. It's The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie.
The blade itself incites to deeds of violence.
This is the first book in the First Law trilogy. It's grim, it's dark, it's grimdark fantasy from Lord Grimdark himself. Okay, before we get into it, listen. If you're new to fantasy, don't start with this book. Seriously, go read some Tolkien, some C.S. Lewis maybe, definitely some Pratchett. Familiarize yourself with the fantasy world. Dip your toes in, so to speak. Then come back to this one. Because believe you me, this book will ruin you for other books. Just like that goth girl you fancied in high school and you got together that one time at a party and you never really quite got over her and you still think of her some nights when you had a bit too much to drink and you start wondering, wait, no? That's just me. Huh. Anyway, if you're already knee-deep in fantasy but also enjoy a friendly slap in the nuts, or the boobs, then this is the book for you. But first, a quick word from our sponsor. What? We don't have a sponsor. Not even after that brilliant intro. Have you sent them the basket of homemade soap? And they still said no. Huh. Well, I guess it's water for dinner again. Okay, let's get straight to it then. Abercrombie's work is heavily character-centric. A lot of the world building, backstory, and characterizations come from dialogue and personal musings of the main character. In fact, the whole book is written from 5 different points of view. So for this episode, I'm gonna break from the usual format to dive deep into the character. And I know there's not a usual format since this is just the first episode, but there will be more, and a pattern will form, and the pattern will have been broken even before it has formed. Mind blown. Right, let's get right to it. As Logan would say, if a thing has to be done, it's better to do it than to live with the fear of it. Grrr. Say one thing about Abercrombie, say he knows how to start a book. From the first words, we hit the ground running. Literally. We meet Logen Ninefingers, the most feared man in the north, an accomplished warrior and killer, and a half-decent cook, if you have something against flavor in your food, that is. He's currently running for his life, barefoot and separated from his mates. He falls off a cliff to... wait, is that? Wait, that can't be right. He's the main character. Well, it turns out he lives. Don't worry, that's not a spoiler. It's not even the first chapter yet. In fact, one of his catchphrases is "still alive," which he mutters after every close encounter. I like to think that he says them with a mixture of relief and surprise every time, and I'm sure that's exactly how Joey Abs, the author, intended it as well. I give the author nicknames because I like to pretend we are friends. Listen, Logan is not your typical action hero, okay? Even though he knows himself to be the deadliest man in the north, you won't see him charging in half-cocked into a group of 6 tough guys, laying them all flat, quipping all the way like it's a 90s action movie. In fact, he actively tries to avoid fights when possible, and if not, he tries to even the odds. You have to be realistic about these things, as he would say. That speaks to his character, but it may also speak to the brutality of this world. And believe you me, this is not a fantasy world where you would go on a first date. This is a brutal world, unfair, often punishing of virtue and rewarding of ruthlessness. Don't get me wrong, Logan kicks names and takes asses all over the place.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
But there is a reluctance in him to do so. Maybe it's because we catch up with him when he's older, battle-weary and more philosophical, and trying actually to be better.
I'm too old for this
I actually wonder if he was like that in his youth. I mean, I know, I read the books, I'm just trying not to spoil them for you. But come on, you don't get to become the most feared man in the north without slightly killing a man or two. The next character we are introduced to is Inquisitor Glokta. Once the golden boy of the Union, an excellent swordsman, winner of duels, dashing and noble, promising officer, with good oral hygiene as well, until he went and f***ed it. He became too cocky, he got himself captured in battle and tortured a little bit. And then, in an ironic twist of fate, he turned torturer himself, and quite an efficient one at that, as only a man who has intimate knowledge of the craft can be. Kind of like Dr. House decided to stop healing people and decided to torture them instead. He is described by others, and by himself as well, as a crippled bastard, ugly to look upon, and not a very nice person all round. And yet, he's one of the more intriguing and, dare I say it, and of course I do, because you're not actually in the room with me, so I'm not scared of you. He's one of the more likable characters of the series. There, I said it. Glokta's life is a constant struggle against pain. Left a broken man by years of torture, his biggest enemy has become 16 stairs that he has to navigate every day. Listen, I stubbed my toe yesterday and it really hurt, so I totally get where he's coming from. Despite his proficiency in his dream job, he does not take pleasure in it, which kind of makes him more relatable. He's just doing his duty with ruthless efficiency and almost a scholarly curiosity about human nature, but he's constantly questioning his own actions, often pondering, why do I do this? And I think it's this internal conflict that makes him so compelling. Say one thing about Glokta, say he has no fear of death. By his own admission, he would view it as a release. Yet, despite his situation, he stubbornly carries on. And I think this, more than anything, this fortitude and still resolve to go on living despite all the pain and humiliation, this is what makes him, if not likable, at least admirable. Next up, Jezal. Jezal Dan Luthar. Jezal. What a bloody donkey. This guy is a self-important, vain, narcissistic, lazy nobleman who enjoys inflicting misery on his friend.
You're gonna make me blush.
From his inner dialogue, we learn he looks down on everyone. Those below him with disdain and those above him with envy. He raised complaining to an art form, which makes him pretty insufferable. God, he's annoying. And do you know what the most annoying part is? He could actually be the hero. He's young, he's handsome, he's from a good family, he's skilled with the sword, he has all the elements of a dashing young prince setting out on a quest.
I am the greatest.
Instead, we have a self-important prick. But this is where my man's J. Kroom's mastery as a writer comes in. Because if you look past all that, you realize that he has the most character growth in the book.
You serious?
In a subtle way, but is there. For someone as stagnant as he is, any step in the right direction feels monumental. One thing that Abercrombie uses Jezal for, with success, is to give a different perspective on the other main characters. Since we are in their POV, we see them through their eyes only. But Jezal, little judgmental prick that he is always quick with his own impressions. When he first meets Logen, he thinks he looked as though he had been carved out of a rock by an unskilled sculptor in a great hurry and then dragged around the world behind a horse. Oh, Jezal, you rascal. And now Bayaz, the first of the Magi, an ancient, powerful wizard that sets the characters on a mysterious quest and joins them to lend aid. Oh, just like Gandalf, you might think, and you would be so wrong. That's why I said to go read something else if you were kind of new to fantasy. Because old Joe Grimm here really likes to subvert expectations, where Gandalf is loving of life. I mean, hell, he even puts up with Tom Bombadil, for God's sake. Bayaz is a force of nature, unchanging and unamused. He has lived so long and he has seen so much that he is tired of everyone's BS. While an important character, he does not get his own point of view, which is probably for the best. I, for one, would not want to know what goes on in the mind of somebody who was the first apprentice to an almost godlike figure, who sees people as tools in the best of cases, or as inconveniences most of the time. Beryl Melgin, one of the other characters with a POV, but of whom we will not be speaking today because, oh no, look at the time. She's the one who can read Bayaz better than the rest, and she spots the madness that lies beneath, like a crocodile beneath the water surface. Now, if you read the books, you'll probably be thinking, is he not going to talk about the Bloody Nine? And no, I am not. Do you want to know why? Because, wait, can I swear? How do I swear tastefully? Never mind, I'm gonna do it anyway. Because that mad bastard. No, I will not talk about him. I'll only give you a few quotes and leave you the pleasure of discovering who he is. There was blood on him, but that was good. There was always blood, but he was kneeling and that was wrong. The Bloody Nine kneels to no man. Logen might have pitied him, but Logen was far away, and the Bloody Nine had no more pity in him than the winter. Less, even. Stonesplitter smiled as his huge arms crossed around the Bloody Nine, folding him tight. An awful mistake. Better to embrace the burning fire. Crack! The Bloody Nine's forehead smashed into his mouth. 5, 6, 7, 8. There was a satisfying rhythm to the crunch of the face bones. Though, yeah. Man, this book is awesome. But before I sing its praises any further, I probably should mention some things that are not so great. I mean, I don't really want to, but I do want to introduce a section where I go on a bit of a rant. So just give me an arbitrary number on a timer and let's just go for it. 1. Lack of plot progression. Look, I get that this is the first book in a series, but come on, where's the plot? The book feels more like an extended prologue than a standalone story. We get tons of characters introduction and world building, yeah, fine. But the actual plot? Where's the plot, Joe?
Where's the money, Lebowski?
It's like waiting for winter in Westeros. It just takes forever. 2. Glokta cynicism. Ah, we get it. You were tortured. You're in pain. Life is crap. But come on, man.
Turn that frown upside down.
I mean, sure, you have to pee sitting down. But so does half of the world's population. And they're not complaining. And yes, you may soil yourself at 9, but you have a manservant to deal with that. And sure, half your teeth are gone. But you get to eat porridge and honey in the morning. Honey. Others in that world, hell, even in this one, they would kill for honey in the morning, and you gripe about it? And why don't you take some painkillers, huh? It's not like they don't exist. And fix your teeth, bro. Yeah, they did a number on you, but I'm sure someone can set you up with a nice pair of, I don't know, horse teeth or something. I don't know, I'm not a dentist. I'm just saying, pull yourself together, bro. 3. Lack of a strong female character. Okay, I get how this might sound a bit hypocritical, seeing how I barely mention a female character in my review, but that just goes to show you. We want more strong women. Okay, to be fair, it does make up for it in later books, creating some beautiful and kick-ass female characters, but I'm still gonna rant about it because, well, I already started. 4. Grimdark overload. Listen, I love a good Grimdark fantasy as much as the next man, if the next man likes Grimdark fantasy. But man, Abercrombie really lays it on thick. The world is bleak, everyone is grey at best, and the redeeming qualities that they do have are... Ah, damn, I was on a roll. Anyway, rant aside, this is truly an amazing book filled with dark humor, brutal realism, and subverted expectation. The chef's special. The battle scenes in this book are unique. They're not the glorified cinematic battles you might be used to. Characters slip, fall, they miss their targets, and even get nervous before a fight. I'm looking at you, Dogman. You who always feel you are about to piss yourself before every fight.
I gotta pay.
If you're after the whole good defeats evil at the end type of plot, with heroes who are shining paragons of virtue and evil is clearly identifiable, almost like it's wearing a sign, then you came to the wrong neighborhood, mate. But if you enjoy stories with characters that are morally grey and deeply flawed, where the world is as brutal as it is fascinating, then The Blade itself is a must-read. Okay, that's it for now. If you hung around this far, thank you. And if you liked it, show some love down below. Oh, I mean like the like button, not... No. Also, if there's something you want to argue about, and I'm sure there will be, well, that's what the comment section is for. See you soon.